Imagine you have a bag of cash, a lot of it, and every single pound of it is illegal. You can't explain where it came from, and you definitely can't just walk into a bank and deposit it. So what do you actually do with it? This exact problem, turning obviously dirty money into money that looks completely normal, is one of the oldest puzzles in organized crime. It's called money laundering, and the actual mechanics of it are so well developed, so systematic, that it operates almost like its own hidden industry. And it's a lot more sophisticated than suitcases full of cash. It moves through real estate, shell companies, casinos, art auctions, and some of the biggest banks in the world. So let's actually follow the money, the 3 stages every laundering operation goes through, and why it's so genuinely hard to stop. Here's the actual challenge, from a criminal's point of view. Large amounts of unexplained cash are, by themselves, evidence. Banks are legally required to report suspicious deposits, so the money needs to look like it came from somewhere completely ordinary. The entire goal is to give dirty money a clean, believable origin story, a paper trail that leads back to something legal and boring, like a business, instead of something illegal and interesting. Okay, so how do you actually give money a fake origin story? There are 3 classic stages, and the first is called placement, getting the cash into the financial system in the first place, in amounts small enough not to raise alarms. Often this means breaking one large sum into many smaller deposits, spread across different banks, different days, even different people, deliberately staying under the amount that automatically triggers a report. Second stage, layering. Now the money moves, fast and often, through a maze of transactions, transfers, and shell companies, specifically designed to make it exhausting to trace. A shell company is a business that exists almost entirely on paper, a name, an address, a bank account, but little or no actual operation behind it. Money can pass through dozens of these, in different countries, in a matter of hours. Third and final stage, integration. The money re-enters the legitimate economy, now looking completely clean, used to buy property, invest in a business, or simply sit in an account that shows a perfectly normal-looking history. The classic technique uses a cash-heavy business, a laundromat, a car wash, a restaurant, as cover. Real cash from real customers mixes with fake cash on the books, and nobody can easily tell which sales actually happened. Property is a favorite too. A house bought entirely in cash through a shell company, then resold. The sale itself now generates a completely legitimate paper trail, with a bank check at the end of it that looks nothing like where the money started. Casinos work beautifully for this too. Walk in with dirty cash, buy chips, play a few token hands, cash the chips back out, and now it's gambling winnings, a source of money that's completely normal to explain. High-value art and luxury goods are another favorite, precisely because their prices are subjective. A painting genuinely worth $10,000 can be bought and sold for $100,000 between 2 connected parties. No law broken, no simple way to prove the price was fake. One of the cleverest methods uses international trade itself. A company invoices for far more, or far less, than goods are actually worth, and the difference in value quietly becomes the laundered amount, buried inside completely ordinary-looking shipping paperwork. So how does any of this ever get caught? Banks are legally required to flag unusual patterns, the same amount deposited repeatedly, cash movements that don't match a customer's normal business, transfers to high-risk countries. Investigators then work backward, piecing together the layering stage transaction by transaction. Genuinely painstaking work, since the whole system was designed specifically to exhaust anyone trying to trace it. And sometimes the banks themselves get caught looking the other way. Some of the largest fines in banking history, hundreds of millions, sometimes billions of dollars, have gone to institutions found to have processed laundered money for cartels and sanctioned regimes, often for years, before being caught. But here's the number that actually stopped me when I first read it, because it puts everything we've just talked about into a scale that's genuinely hard to comprehend. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime estimates that the amount of money laundered globally every year is somewhere between 2 and 5% of the entire world's GDP. In actual dollars, that works out to somewhere between roughly $800 billion and $2 trillion a year. Every single year. That's not the total ever laundered. That's the estimated flow, annually, indefinitely. Put another way, The money laundered each year is larger than the entire annual economic output of most countries on Earth. It is, by scale alone, one of the largest industries that technically doesn't exist. And here's the genuinely sobering part. Global enforcement efforts are estimated to catch and confiscate somewhere around 1% of that total each year. 99%, roughly, simply completes the cycle and disappears back into the ordinary economy. Here's the honest reframe. Money laundering isn't a shadowy back-alley crime happening somewhere far away. It runs, in small and large ways, through real estate offices, casinos, art galleries, and yes, sometimes major banks, hiding inside completely ordinary-looking transactions every single day. And that's exactly why it's so hard to stop. You're not looking for something that stands out. You're looking for something specifically engineered to look like absolutely nothing happened at all. So the next time you walk past a car wash that never seems to have any customers, or a restaurant that's somehow always empty but never closes, you now understand a little more about why some businesses stay open in ways that never quite add up. How money laundering actually works. 3 simple stages. Hiding one of the largest invisible industries on Earth. Hit subscribe. We're pulling apart another hidden system next time. See you there.